Hello. So currently just getting ready here, doing a little, nobody else is on, so I'm currently just gonna get some contracts done. Find this 84, I guess I'll go around. Currently doing a couple contracts, using course play. People join, they can take over some of this contract work. Kind of use a combo of some of my equipment and some of the leased components. Don't have all the equipment for transpo stuff. Need to get a wrapper that can wrap Heston bales, and we can do all this ourselves. Need a mod for that, and there is none on the official mod hub for employees. Just get this course play going on 84. So I did a little bit more reading on grass, so should be getting 3 cuts out of this, and you want to let it cook through 2 stages. So I've been cutting it at 1 stage, which actually works. We're getting to the point now where we can, you know, October is when I want to cut this next, and that comes up next. So you know, we're all set for that then. And I'm just running course play to try to keep this going here a little bit more smoothly and simulate if I have nobody on. So let's see. 5.1 meters looks good. We want 2 headlands. Start with the headland, generate the field here. And let's see. So what is it going behind me? It's going behind me. All right, let's go. First waypoint, this person go. And so use my own cutter here as well as what came off the lease. Lovely. Right, so that's cutting. We currently have this case cutting, which the case probably need to tune that down a little bit. It's all right if we leave a little bit, that's fine. It was not auto-detecting properly. It's supposed to be 10 meters. It's not. I put it down to 9.9, and it's still a little bit too wide, but that will be perfect for the contract. That's fine. Oh, nice. How far did you make it? Not very far. Okay, let's... Hope you didn't charge me for that AI as you crashed my shit into the wall there, guy. I don't know why you go here. Probably got hit by a car. Screwed up. So, these guys on AI just trying to move all my crap. The baling is good money, but it's requires a lot of equipment. So I need to have balers, and in this case, I'm just windrowing it. I don't need to tet it. At the field near the farm, I'm going to use my equipment more. We also have field 89, so this is worth some money. We have a lot of debt, and really don't have anything to do on the farm because of kind of waiting on cutting. So. Wait till October to cut, so. Go. So bring this tedder down there. This one's going to be funky to do the. This one's offset, so I need to set this up a little bit more complex with course play to get this windrower set up because it windrows to the sides, so I have to kind of check the alignment on it. And I have to do an offset, so. So on field number 84, which is close to the farm, I'm going to use pretty much mostly my equipment. We'll do the, pretty much it's ready for baling right away. See, this is the thing, is why I picked the equipment I did for my farm, is using the force shred stuff and the large mower. It auto swaths, and so it's all ready to bale. You know what this is here is I need the field I'm going to now. It needs to be baled, and then it needs to be lined, and then it, you know, so it's 2 stages there. So I need multiple vehicles. So kind of why I picked the equipment I picked. So I got a bunch of these vehicles just kind of running stuff down. I could put this on AI. I think I might do that. I'll see if it behaves itself. Not the most reliable. I have to plug the joystick too, but it's trying to mow the field. Piss off. Okay. All right, screw it. I'll just drive it there. It's gonna be annoying. It's going to be annoying, so I'm just gonna drive it there. Set up Discord in case people join. How's it going there, Citrus? Am I not a multiplayer? Let me see. Let me save this really quickly. I may have not loaded this up as multiplayer because Risha is going to just play, and then I was like, oh, people are probably still on. Let me quickly put this on multiplayer. Alright, so it's rebooting as multiplayer. Trying to see if there's somebody. Cat stepping on my hand as I'm trying to play here. Let's see. Somebody set up one of the wrappers to be. Yeah, somebody set up one of the wrappers to be for the Heston balers. For that at some point. Citrus, pretty much need to get on. I've got the case and all the other equipment kind of going to field 89, and then I'm working 84 because it's right next to the farm.
The case what?
Yeah, the case tractor is mowing. It needs to mow 89. What's up?
Since when did we get the case?
Let's see. Check the contracts. Okay, yeah, they're both
contracts.
they show active. They're just the fields aren't flashing. So okay. Yeah, so they're active. 80. Are you able to get in the case?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just, contract's still active. The field is not flashing. So it must be when we started it. So I was doing a little research, Citrus. So we should be cutting 3 times a year. It's essentially April, July, and October. And there, you know, you do a grass stage every 2 days, I think. And so we should be waiting 2 grass stages because essentially just cutting it while it's short. So this is actually going to work out because, you know, it's currently September, so it'll be the next month in game. We'll be ready to do the final cut until spring. And that way we go through and we get the maximum amount. We're essentially, you know, we're cutting too early, so that's good. Just take a look at that. There he is. Yeah, so I did a bunch of contracts myself last night, and then just trying to fill them out. We have a little wait on much going on our farm, so make some cash to get taken care of.
So I'm gonna load.
You're talking in game. Can you put that off? You're like echoing because of it. There's a setting, I forget where it is. You can make it so that it doesn't auto-recognize.
Sure.
Yeah, that's better. It's in Discord. Tell me now. Yeah, look for the case tractor. It should be in field 89 with the mower attached, and then 89 needs to be cut. I started moving the windrower over. It's on a John Deere on the road. But, let's see if I can find this wrapper here. So there's one wrapper somebody edited so that it would pay custom bales if you can find it. Case of the massive nose, yeah. A lot of those they're putting in, they put in inline diesels, so they're like inline sixes. They tend to have a long nose because you have to have the diesel, which is pretty long as it is, and then you're putting on a radiator on there, and then you have sometimes a big fuel tank behind it. Some of those have long noses. Like an inline six is my favorite diesel. Did you see my baler there that I made on Stormworks? trying to get all the parts, so we don't need to lease any more equipment to do this. We'll need the Heath Super Chaser to finish it up, or a semi-trailer. Getting close to being moved all with the farm. If I can find this wrapper. I don't think it's on the official mod hub, unfortunately. Somebody edited it so it could take custom bales, but I don't think it's on the official, and I'm trying to use all officials. L-shaped, I think that's what I should do. And you probably drove, no, you probably, the John Deere's on the road there with the windrower. I can come along with this too and start helping windrow too. Just quickly putting up some stuff. see. I'm not going to the challenge, which I still don't know what I'm doing for the challenge. I'm trying to make sure they settle it all down. You know, I was throwing around an idea of a tractor. I have a hook lift idea. I have a bunch of ideas for the next build challenge. So, unlike previous ones, I'm not really talking about it or showing anything until I figure it out. So, you know, I don't want to get, I don't have to do what Big Man did and cancel it because they keep changing stuff either. So I'm kind of like, might do something that's a little bit more aesthetic. At one point I was thinking I'll just put on one of my engines and transmissions, and then that way people can just do the aesthetics. But kind of, you know, I figure they're going to be probably keep screwing with things for probably about another week. We'll see if they're kind of toned down. They're knocking out a bunch of these problems. Some people still think there's a lot of bugs going on because they, you know, their builds are kind of, they built them in peculiar ways. So that kind of stuff probably won't change. But there are some issues here and there. Like there's a pivot issue right now. So, you know, I keep wanting to, you know, start a challenge, but I'm also trying not to make it too much of a pain. I assume that it was canceled because of, you know, I don't think he really said, but I assume it was because, you know, people were struggling to get stuff to work because they kept changing mechanics, and so that's kind of why I've been holding off too, is I wasn't going to start, you know, it was about time for me to start the challenge when the update came out, and I wasn't going to do it until they kind of, you know, until we know what's going on, right? You wouldn't want to change it in an alpha branch, so it's, you know, I'm just kind of hanging back and relaxing. You know, I figure, to me, this is kind of a alpha branch. Not all my modular engines work. You know, some people are having issues with these things, but I'm not. And, you know, but I can certainly see people having issues. So, you know, if they make a big change, imagine if they made a big change like the right at due date. You know, now people are either scrambling to get it done. You're going to have people who are busy and who, you know, worked on the build and then just couldn't get something out because, or couldn't make changes. And so, like, I need to finish the build reviews too. I put those on hold, waiting for them to kind of simmer down on the changes, and then I need to reach out to everybody on the build review and make sure that their builds are working. And then I owe Mr. G for a build series with his build from last challenge, so kind of want to get that stuff done before I get something else going. I'm trying not to, you know, trying to do things kind of in order. So, but most of the stuff's working. Like that was good. The live stream the other day, you kind of see like pretty much all my stuff's working. So, you know, I think part of the issue was people were using pumps for their air intakes, and I always use impellers, and impellers leak. So you don't need a valve on there to let in fresh air because the impeller leaks air through. And so I think some people were using pumps instead of doing impellers, and that was causing them problems with it. You know, I think some of the way some people were doing AFR was screwing up their engines. So I think it's pretty much in a state where I could do a challenge, but you know, I want to try to at least get caught up on stuff, and then I usually test my own build for the challenge. So I have a couple ideas going, and I should be able to get something figured out. You know, like this could just be more of an aesthetics challenge. That way, you know, if they change something engine related, it doesn't really matter. You know, so that's one reason I was thinking of doing having a stock engine transmission. We shall see. I'm kind of guided by how the hotfix is going. There's no hotfix today. There was a pivot issue yesterday, or today on Reddit that somebody was talking about. Oh, did you? Yeah, I've never used Steam wheels. You know, I think they could bolster some gameplay with some cool things like having, you know, an innate pasture script or innate pasture functionality of the game. I think that's something that would go a long way to add some gameplay. It's like, you know, having Steam and stuff would be, you know, it'd be fun to run your Steam train and do some period correct pasture stuff, you know, maybe even get me into trains, you know, like airplane stuff. You know, Stormlink is way, you know, somebody, the unofficial mod's the one I was using because the other person, you know, has really been either not updating or slowly updating. That's something that would be cool for the devs to add is a pasture script, you know, pretty much, you know, have people at the stations and, you know, go do the run. But like, you know, Industrial Frontier, if they fix some of the issues with that, it would make it, I think, more rewarding to actually go do metal, and that would bring in my desire to do trains. But, you know, I do some trains with moving fuel. I don't know if, you know, a lot of people saying oil drilling was broken. I don't know if what parts of it were broken or if they're fixed. I haven't really looked at my stuff. Going on with that, but you know, like we saw, they changed yesterday's hot fix. They changed the pressure, so kind of still a little bit in flux. Yeah, there's been in field 8. There's been a bale in that field for a while. Yeah, that was from when we cut that quite a while ago. The one I'm thinking of? Yeah. Been a green bale sitting in 8 for a while, a grass bale. You want to hit that with a wrapper when you end up wrapping. Do that. And then pick it up on the way out. Just leave a space for one, whoever does the run, and we'll take that to the biogas plant. Just needs to be wrapped. Make sure you're checking the contract. I looked at it quickly, but I think it's biogas. I think it's grass wrap biogas. Go. It'd be awesome if somebody would come out with a special wrapper on the official mod hub for the Heston bales. I saw what, you know, I saw one, but it's not on the official. If I can find a reputable website to get it off of, I'll do it. It's just those used to be virus magnets, those websites. So I like the official one. Plus, it's like when you guys jump in the game, you don't have to download something separately. You can just do it for you. Just hoping somebody will put it on the official mod hub. So essentially all I did was it doesn't really function, but what it does is the pivot that rotates the front of the PTO, the pivot that rotates the front of the PTO, it sends through the connector its speed, and then there's a velocity pivot on the machine that then sends it through. So you know it mimics the same speed as the front one. It doesn't really work, but it's all electric. Like, you know, if we had small enough wheels or bearings, I could do it, but it's too big. So, it'd be nice if they would do that. I should make a write-up at some point. It'd be cool to be able to add that. Like, the ability to do hydrostatic drives would be cool. Yeah, it looks cool, though. It's going to add functionality where, for example, you know, it's going to have kind of like eventually I'll do like a load simulation so that, you know, each implement will have a certain amount of load, and it will essentially, I don't know, slip the clutch or something on say the tractor, so that when the tractor is running a heavy piece of equipment, it puts load on it, and so it can't, you know, some of the power is being taken off as a power takeoff, you know, so you're losing some of your power to be able to utilize the other, you know, the implement. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that. Is that way you can kind of be like, okay, the Heston baler is big heavy baler. It's going to be, you know, surge it. So every time the, you know, like I have a working plunger in it. So like when the plunger extends to a certain point, it will slow the vehicle down and stuff like that. So some neat things to do on it. I want to get this Heston baler, but I need that wrapper if I want to do contracts. That's what's annoying. Kind of surprised I don't have a wrapper up for it yet. Personally, I don't like doing silage bales for this farm. I'd rather do silage pits, and then but contracts keep asking for silage bales. Let's see, what's out there for equipment? Okay, the John Deere was out there. I just clicked to it. Okay. Are you windrowing, Citrus? Okay. I want this fold. I won't, oh, because I detached the hydraulics, that's why. There we go. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Don't hit the fence. Don't hit the fence, pain in the balls. This has a swather on it. I didn't realize that. This mower has a swather on it. Is this gonna friggin' fold or what, dude? Press X how many times? Come on, man. Fold the fucking mower. Did I disconnect the lines? I must have. That's what I did. I disconnected the hydraulic lines. Corona. If you want to leave that John Deere in the windrower here, there's already another John Deere up at the store. You can grab the what do you call it, the wrapper rather, and that way you don't have to drive it back. On my way for the Kroner now. Just don't forget to wrap that bale in field 8, that way you can pick it up on the way out with the stacker. That's my phone. You come sit, buddy. Sit nice, bud. Buddy. joystick around. Not making it easy. Did you move the fence for some reason? I'm gonna go put the fence back. What's up with this? Okay. Yeah, you're going to the right. All right. I get you. I see the pattern now. Wasn't seeing it in the dark. see it. Copy. Oh, nice. So it does come with the wrapper, Citrus. So it's also included with the regular Heston baler as a modified version of the Kuhn SW4014 wrapper. Nice. Nice. I didn't notice that at the beginning. Let me check it. So this must be it right here. There it is. I bet that's it. Yeah, it says it Heston right there. So nice. So that came with it. Awesome. That's beautiful. Excellent. That's awesome. Okay, good. So in the future we can start just doing Heston bales. So probably gonna want to get a. If we're gonna do contracts too in the future with that, it's worth getting the Super Chaser. It'll be more than that. They're pretty damn big, though. They're pretty big. Yep, I kind of like doing handling of the bales too, so don't necessarily need the Super Chaser because it's Super Chaser can't take that many, so well, it's actually kind of nice. Depends. The accumulator is nice because you can stack multiples, and then just put them on the trailer. I've been trying to find a good flatbed that I like with the W50 tractors. Might after these 2 contracts for grass, I think we're back to not being in debt. And then go back into debt again for, you know, getting, we can get a different semi with a, there is a gooseneck trailer that I kind of like, so maybe I'll just put that on first, and we can run that gooseneck with the semi. And there's another bale trailer, so we can run bales off with the regular trucks until we get some money to get like a bigger semi to run bales. A little bit to your right, Citrus, you're double lining it. I think the pickup's still wide enough to get it. Like these are large bales too, but they're not Heston bales. Heston bales are enormous. and then the other field 84 is already windrowed, so that doesn't need to be windrowed. Start right in on wrapping. I'm heading to 84 to start bailing 84. Yeah, well, bugging me. Come here, bud. Why don't you sit nice with me, buddy? Yeah, why don't you sit with me, you silly goose? Give me a silly goose. Give me a silly goose. But it's not right there, honey. You can't sit there on my joystick handle. You can't do it, but sit on my lap. Yeah, he wants more food. He's not going to get it then. Just ate. He's starting to get close to his eat time for his third. Fed him a little late coming back from my appointment. So. There was one of the contracts I did last night. Citrus was for $800. Was it a cultivating run one of the fields? I was already doing cultivating, so I was just like, I'll just drive down there and do it for $800. But it was only an $800 cultivating contract. But helps get out of debt. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go feed him and give him a drink. Alright, I have returned. Nice. We have enough equipment now, Citrus, that we probably won't need it to lease anything for a contract anymore. The only thing we really need is that wrapper and wheel trailer. With this cash, we should be able to do that. Like when I get on a straight line, I can go on the internet, look for stuff. hear the sound going in and out. That's just me going on the website for a bunch of these games. I don't like it that when even though you put it in window mode, when you tab out, it silences them, which is kind of obnoxious. Especially if you're recording, because it's like, oh, did the sound die? Did the sound die? And it's like, nope, it's just being the way it is. I'm gonna read this message. The person who paid $800 for the field is called something stingy. Yeah, it was, what field was it? It was field number 38. It was pretty much like 4 passes with the cultivator. Pretty, yeah, it was field 38. It's pretty small, so it was only like four passes with it, so it was pretty tiny. It was worth doing, but it was just, yeah, because that was the last field, so I just drove out there and hit it, and then recalled the contracts. There's another one that was like 1,000. I did a bunch of harvesting, which I think, so this kind of, I think what the plan is, we're going to mostly be grass. I think we're just going to keep the one alfalfa field, and that's going to be for the sheep. Because if you look at the, let me see if I can bring this up while I'm moving. If you look at their preferences, we're going to stop feeding cows. Cows are no longer getting hay grass or alfalfa, because alfalfa, it's only 50% effective, and TMR is 100. Hay grass is low. But if we go to sheep, alfalfa is 100%, grass is 100%. So we can run the sheep on alfalfa, so that one field's pretty much sheep. And then, so the sheep are going to get that alfalfa field, and then any grass they need. And then the cows are going to get TMR, so they need hay and silage. So haylage and silage. Not necessarily haylage, but they need hay bales and silage. And then what I'll probably end up doing is, as we expand out to fields, at some point, I'm going to probably, the first crop we do that's not going to be, kind of a grass crop is going to be, I would say, corn. The cat's so funny. He just brought me his baby. His favorite stuffed toy is his possum. And after he eats, to thank me for eating, for giving him food, he brings me a toy. So he brought me his possum. And he screams. He's like, "Row, row," and then he brings his possum. And then he'll come and he'll lay on my lap. So, what's up, buddy? Hi, sweet boy. You brought it? Yeah, you come sit with me. Then he comes and sits. He's a funny guy. He's very, And then, like, anytime I go upstairs to use the bathroom for a shower, or even if I just go up and get something out of the bedroom, he thinks that means treat, because, with my schedule of work, I used to, I come down to eat, feed them, take my shower, and then I would give them treats and go to work. And so he thought that going to the bathroom, especially taking a shower, meant he got treats. Now anytime I go upstairs, he wants treats. He's kind of a funny guy. Oh, you could hear it? Oh, yeah. Sometimes you can hear him. Like, you can hear him in the videos sometimes. Usually if I'm talking, because I need to talk to activate the mouse. Are you still screaming, buddy? Hi, buds. He likes to scream when I'm sleeping, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Oh. I got the chat on. I lose my steering ability here. There we go. Yeah, he woke me up early one night this morning. Pickup up? No, I don't know why it's not easy. No, I did pick the pickup up. Alright. Pick the bale pickup. Find a trailer for us. There's one already downloaded that's not too bad that can go with the current tractor. That's kind of why I picked that one. But there's some American style ones, but our tractor is kind of on the small side, so get a bigger tractor. You know, I want to get that one I showed you to kind of do some of it. There we go. There is the... So this it's branded as Lizard, but it's a Heath Super Chaser. So this can take 10 full-size Heston bales on it. The Heath Super Chaser. But you can get a flatbed, you can put like 20 of them on. So the current issue that kind of slows this way down is kind of a little bit of laborious, and as far as I'm concerned, boring process is running the bale chaser back and forth. What you do in real life is those bale accumulators are pretty much used in the field. You know, there are going to be certain circumstances where they run them off, but likely that's going to stay on the field, and you're going to accumulate the bales, and then you dump them on the side of the field, and then you would contract, or you'd have your own semis to come get them, because the semi can hold a lot more. So the main thing is to stack them. You know, so we'll probably start with the accumulator. The accumulator puts out 3 in a group, and then you come out with a big tractor and load them on the trailer. So we don't really need the accumulator if we're running a chaser. You know, we might run it's probably, you know, better to run the accumulator for contracts or, you know, far-flung fields. If we have a huge number of bales in a far-flung field, it's better to do the chaser. So let me see. It looks like a Heston bale. It has a capacity of 6,500 liters per bale. So about 3. What's this one? Okay, no, these are just under 6s, I think. Let's see when it comes up. So they might be 6s, so it might be 500 more liters per bale. So just got a problem again. Yeah, exactly. Bought the space DLC. So this is nice too. It's semi-autonomous, the chaser wagon. So it's you know, it's more realistic that way. Plus you get to be involved. I think, you know, a lot of people will jump right to the automation, which especially if you're doing stuff by yourself, I can get. But you know, and then they will cry bored. I see that in Stormworks a lot. It's like you do some of the stuff yourself. You have to learn to navigate. It starts to become very rewarding if you have to do a bunch of the stuff yourself. You know, it's like for example, like we use an auto-load bale trailer for all the bales. It would be boring as hell. And you never get the skills to do it, where if you start to play with the front loader, it really doesn't take all that long to get some good front loader skills. You know, if you always go in third person to back up, for example, in a lot of games, you don't really get the sight lines you would IRL if you do it, you know, by just looking. Why do they have... Buddy. Don't lay behind my keyboard. Just come here and sit on my lap. That's a good boy. He's got peculiar behavior. He's got... Why don't you sit nice, bud? He likes to like sit behind my keyboard or on my hand or on the joystick, anywhere but like just relaxing in the seat. That's a good boy. I gotta like put him on my lap so he feels cozy. Alright, you cozy boy. How old is he? I think he had his 5th birthday last month. Right, you 5 boy? Yeah. He was porch fruit. We found him under the porch. His mama was I think his mama was a stray, and heard him squealing, heard him chirping under the under the porch, and I got this kitten out from under the porch. And then we saw his mother and brother. It must have been his mother and brother. They looked exactly. The brother looked identical to him. We saw the mother. The mother was like black and white, and then we saw it was like about the same size as him, same age, everything. We saw his brother with, and they were jumping in the neighbor's yard. So, all right, is that your mama? Right. Yep. Best thing I found under the porch is this cat. Shit, we're going to put the pickup up. And of course I'm not picking anything up when the pickup's up. I don't know. She's probably still around. I think I saw her, I think, 6 months ago. Got to wander in the neighborhood. Yeah, she could be somebody's cat too, but she just went out, had kittens out in the outside. This boy's never been out again. I don't believe in outside cats. It's too dangerous, and they eat all the birds, and they attack all the wildlife. It's not really good for wild animals. Not good for them, so I keep them inside. My buddy needs not be outside. He's being safe, inside and safe, right, my buds? He's kind of a shy guy, anyways. He's very bold with me, but he's a shy guy. Loves shoulder rides. He likes to ride on the shoulders. All right, you silly goose. Doing this funny cute thing lately is as I'm walking around the house, he gets like a time where he starts to get a little frisky and wanting to like play, and so he'll right as it's getting late at night, and he will, like, as I'm walking, he kind of like chases, and he gets up on 2 legs and grabs my leg and then runs off. He doesn't dig his claws in, he just like grabs me for funsies, right, Bubba? Now he's just laying on the lap. He had his yummies. He's ready for a nice warm nappy poo. Get rid of that map. There. Oh, that's good the cat came home. Often if you put their, you know, like what we did, we had one of them get out one time, and so what we did was leave the garage cracked about 6 inches, and then put the litter box and the food in the garage. And I like, if one of the pets is missing or out, I've never let a pet out, let's put it that way. But if they get out, I can't go to sleep. I stay up all night looking for them. And so one of the cats got out and put the food in the litter box in there, and he came in the garage, and I went out and I had him in my arms, and I foolishly, kind of out of habit, clicked the garage door button to shut the door, and instead of going down, it went up, and it scared him. He ran to the back of the garage. I tried shutting the door, and it scared him again. He went out, and so he was out for the next day, and then he did it again. He came in for food, and I picked him up and put him in the breezeway and brought him in the house, and then went back and did the door separate. So. But the neighbor's yard is kind of overgrown, so I think he just went over there and kind of hung out. But their litter box, you know, they can smell that and they know it's theirs, so they, you know, they kind of, that way they know where home is and they'll come back. And then their food, you know, they come and they'll want to stay. And I've got a cat. YouTube chat. Okay. Oh, there's a thank you, Citrus, for pointing that out. Sorry there, Owl. I just saw it. I been looking for a trailer. How's it going there, Connor? That's all right. Yeah, we're just trying to get out of debt. Rich is further down the line. This is a lease tractor. This is just doing contracts at the moment, trying to get some cash. We can't cut our fields again until October. So, waiting for, just doing some contracts, trying to get some cash. Yeah, farm cats are a different thing, you know. You know, when you have, you know, you figure you have grain silos, you have even probably fodder and silage they're probably hanging out in, but, you know, you have really like insane mice and rat problems, so it makes sense to have farm cats. And farm cats, you know, they have a job and it's wild. It's not like there's really no wild. There are some wild animals on farms, but a lot of it is, you know, it's mice, rodents, stuff like that you know would get out of hand and it's not really good. You figure, you know, you start getting a lot of rat droppings in foodstuffs is not good either. So it's you know. I have no issue with having barn cats and everything else. That's kind of, they have a job to do. And, you know, it's like you live in a neighborhood and it's like squirrels and birds and they attack the shit out of the birds and the squirrels. You know, so that makes sense for people to keep their cats in because it's, you know, just decimating the wild population. You know, the rats and stuff are artificial because there's like, it's not natural to have like, you know, 100,000 liters of grain there and to sustain a rat population. That's not, you know, natural, where you figure you have like 3 squirrels that live in the block. You know, you don't want them decimated by the cats. You know, you might have 10 cats and 5 squirrels living in that block and they just absolutely destroy everything and kill all the birds. Farming's kind of a different thing. It was funny. He had sooty, like he got a mouse like a couple of years ago, and I tried rescuing the mouse, and he ran right downstairs and got him again. The mouse went down between the heating unit and back downstairs, and he went back and got him again. But the you know, he had one of his stuffed mice the other day, and he's so good now that he can pick the mouse up, the stuffed animal, in his hand. And in his paw, and he throws it. And so he picked it up and he threw it when I was streaming, and it went under the other desk, and it looked like he was like batting at something, and then it ran under the desk. So I thought it was a live mouse. So I was getting ready to like try to get it, and then he pulled it out, and it was a stuffed animal. He was like just chucking it under stuff. Like he'll throw his toys halfway across the room to go play with it. never seen a mink. I've seen fisher cats IRL a couple times. Seen bobcats. We've had a lot of bobcats around here lately. Bear. Not many bears. I've seen a couple bears. We're in a pretty, you know, the whole Northeast is pretty built up, but, you know, still see a lot of that stuff. I haven't seen a moose in a long time. Better not see the moose. They're damn dangerous, especially driving. Like, one of the tractors at work hit a moose, and it bent the frame of a 25,000-pound tractor. It takes a lot to bend the frame of a tractor. Yeah. Yeah, the people are the biggest concern here in the U.S. I see a citrus wrapping. That's awesome that Heston pack comes with that. I didn't even, I had thought I'd read it at one point and I forgot it. And that's good because I'd been looking for that, and that was like the one reason why I wasn't doing this, because this is like a lot faster to not have to swath like this, because it auto swaths. They have some cutters that have even wider swathers on them too, that you end up you know, they have like the Mac Dawn has a really wide swather on it. And then the nice thing is you can still cut with the force width cutter, and then use the pickup on the forge wagon if you want to take it in and use silage. So I think I started talking about, like, you know, might turn some. We're not going to turn any of the fields we currently have. Those are all going to stay grass because they're nice and close to the barns, so it makes it easy, because grass is very equipment intensive, requires a lot of machines to handle the grass. One of the reasons why I switched over to the force width stuff there is it helps with cutting down passes. Passes put you out of business. Just takes too much time. But then as we buy some of these, like this will probably end up being a grass field, but some of them will start to go to corn, because we can do corn silage, and you know, we need to plow, we need to seed to do the corn. I'm going to try to see if we can double crop anything. Double cropping would make it worthwhile, and then because that's just one attachment I need to buy for the force width, so that's like 12 grand. And now we can run corn silage. I need to see what the volumes are though, because we get three cuts of grass. So the corn would essentially have to be three times the volume, which it could be, because it's eating up the whole stalk. You know? So I'll have to see what the volume is on the corn. Yeah, benefit with that is, you know, we do have to plant it, but you figure every time we cut grass, we have to roll. So that's a pass in the field on that. So that's the same pretty much as plowing. And then if we have to do a so we have to do a fert pass on that. So we have to do like an extra pass on the corn, but then we lose 2 other harvests. And then if we can double crop it, we're in pretty good shape for other efficiency stuff. So. All right, I am gonna go and get the bale trailer. Start picking these up. Did you wrap the one in field 8 there, Citrus? If not, it's not a big deal. I'll pick it up and sell it. Okay, nice. Oh, good, you brought the 89. Perfect. I'm gonna dump this. I might just bring this baler with me. It'll be a waste of time to disconnect it. Run it back. Ah, empty the baler though. Forgot to do that. That was something cool that, you know, they used to have mods that you could empty the balers. And that was something they added. So that's in the game now, which is cool too. Just press Y and it unloads the baler. I guess the power of mods is it just like you can have a couple creative people at a game company, or you can have, you know, a couple people, creative people at the game company, and then hundreds of creative modders who really advance the game, and that's really cool. I was doing some more research. Citrus would appreciate seeing he absolutely loathes doing rock stuff, but picking up rocks. But you can roll in the small rocks. You only have to pick up the big rocks. So there's certain types of plowing that will only bring up the small rocks, and then you just run the rollers we already have over them, and it pushes the rocks back into the ground. Because rocking is pretty miserable. But that's another nice thing about doing grass. We don't have to plow. We don't have to lime. You know, the big thing here is, you know, I was talking about this before, is we have currently like 330,000 liters of silage in the pit. We're going to get one more cut out of the fields at essentially double growth state. And so all of that is going right into the silage pit. So we're probably going to end up with like 600 plus thousand liters of silage. And, you know, the vast majority of that can be sold. That's big money. And it's pretty easy. It's just like all winter long, filling up trailers and dropping them off. And that's going to be big money to kind of really get ahead on cash. And that's going to be pretty much to buy fields and more cows. Got the John Deere Gator fertilizer spreader too. That's nice. That's got like a 10-meter wide swath. It's also, it takes exactly 1,000 liters, which is what one of those big bags are. So it that really helps. I kind of want to make a in Stormworks. I want to do a tractor transmission and you know, a tractor motor. And so what I was thinking of doing is doing a, you know, so like the way that this one's a stupid CVT automatic, but the, like the proper ones are essentially 4-speed with 3 or 4 ranges. So probably do like a 4-speed with 3 ranges on it. And then I might, you know, and that will be manually control the gear and the range. I'm probably going to change up the PTO in the Heston baler I made in Stormworks last night. I'm going to probably do, so what I'm currently doing is I have a piston on there. And so what I think I'm going to do is trade the piston out for a suspension. And if you put the suspension pretty much to 0, it still has some pushing out force, but you can overcome it with the connector and it really doesn't cause any problems. You kind of have to worry about some of that fighting force, but you know, like, that's kind of nice. A smaller piston would be another good addition to the game, like the ability to go, 1, set the starting position, 2, have it like the one we currently have in game, it goes 2 blocks back, 2 blocks forward. So a full swing of 4 blocks. It would be nice to have one that could go 2 blocks. So 1 block forward, 1 block back. Even have a 1 block one, or it goes 1 block forward, 1 block back, and just make it tiny, you know. Yeah. So the small one could probably be would have to be if you did it extended, it would be 3 long and then 4 long when extended. And then I would love them to do torque throughputs for those. That would be awesome. And then give us some sort of connector. Essentially, it'd just be a connector with a torque throughput, and then you could start to do PTOs, which is really nice. And then I would love to see them do the ability to do to pump. Essentially have see now that we have pressurized liquid. This is some of the things I think some of the people who like complained right off the bat are a little short-sighted with is. I think especially like, you know, you could certainly make the argument now that some of the disruption this pressure update has done, you know, is negative. I get all that, but I think part of it is thinking further down the road. You know, there's some really cool things they could add. Like, for example, they could make it so that with pressurization now, we can do things like hydraulics, and what you could get in then is you do, for example, hydrostatic drives where you essentially have an impeller that goes backwards, and this would make turbos work as well, where you pump a liquid or fluid, let's say fluid more accurate, pump a fluid through there and it will turn the torque. And so that way you could do things like a hydrostatic drive, so you would have hydraulic lines coming off the tractor, and the hydraulic would turn the hydrostatic drive, and that would then actually power your implement through a hydrostatic drive. That would be helpful, for example, for tanks, because you would just have to pass through the liquid, and you need a fluid out, you need a fluid in, and then you could do hydrostatic drives. That's how, for example, like zero-turn mowers often work as hydrostatic drives. The Bobcats, I think, pretty much now are all hydrostatic drives. So that would be really cool. All bales wrap, copy. Do you want to run this citrus, or do you want to do something else? Okay. There you go, sire. I'll start getting some of the stuff back where it needs to go. I'm trying to get my bearings where the hell I am. I've like almost haven't. Let me get the map up. Okay, I'm low. All right. Saw a Ferrari and a flatbed today. Rather have one of the Corvettes that I saw 10 of on the semi. My favorite Corvette was the C5, which I wanted to buy a C5. That was right around when I was in college. There were a lot of C5s. Like the C5's the 06. Well, it's silver with the trunk. They started going where they get rid of the trunks on those. I really like the trunk better than having the hatchback. So the C5s are the last ones you could get a hatchback on. Now the what are they, 8s now? The 8s are mid-engine. I don't know, I'm less inclined, like I'm more interested in motorcycles and trucks for having like fun vehicles, and like fast cars don't really interest me. Especially once you've been on a motorcycle, fast car is pretty damn boring. So like fast cars don't really interest me. I'm more interested in like motorcycles and trucks, tractors. Like I would love to, like I want a Honda Acti, but like I would rather have a Kubota with a bucket. I'd rather go spend 40 grand on that than get a car. I don't currently have enough property to be doing that stuff. Like, originally I was gonna buy a house that had more land. Didn't end up getting a house with a lot of land. Yeah, I like the Stingrays. They're just too damn old now. That's part of the thing. Is it's like, you know, when I was a very young kid, you know, my favorite is like a 1967 Stingray. You know, and so that was my favorite. But they're so friggin' old now that it's just like, yeah, you got to start worrying about all sorts of issues. And then safety-wise, the safety's miserable at, you know, at this point comparatively. You know, you can still get parts for like C5. You can still probably get a good bit of parts, and especially the nice thing with the Corvettes, where they shared a lot of the switchgear with the regular Chevy vehicles, and so like you could get the windshield wiper stock off a minivan and stick it on, you know, your C5 Corvette, and so that's the nice thing is you don't have to like. You know, 20 years down the line, you don't have to worry about trying to get a windshield wiper stock if something's broken off of another Corvette. You can go get it off of a, you know, minivan, and that's kind of nice. You know, it's like, you know, I wanted an airplane at some point, but like a 1980s airplane is probably what I'd have to go after. You know, and they're still like 100 grand cash to get a good one. You know, and then it's about 12 grand a year because you know I want to keep it in a hangar. Like if you're down south where it's, you know, reasonably dry and there's no snow, you can leave it outside on a ramp. But then you have to put in all the window shades and everything else. You know, up here you'd want to put it in the hangar, and so you know you're talking 12 grand on top of that a year. That's for everything. You know, so you're talking at least 12 grand a year. So you have to put out 100 and then 12 grand a year. Just to have it and keep it, you know, and so it starts to get excessive. Yeah, the motorcycles are, I think, you know, they're a pretty affordable toy to have. You figure, you know, you can get a, you know, like a nice brand new motorcycle for like 8 grand, and registration's not that prohibitively expensive, and it's, you know, pretty reasonable thing. They don't take up a ton of space. They're easy to work on yourself. They're not uber complicated now. That's one of the problems. Like my car is, it's finally going to get it fixed next week. You know, it's just everything's so complicated. Before you used to be able to do a lot of work yourself, and now it needs to be done in the shop because they need to put the computer on it to do it and reset it. Like even like the window thing, it's like they have to put it on the computer just to reset the windows, and so it's like all that's annoying. Like any sort of like, you know, if you need to work on an old car or truck, you're gonna have to jack it up and get under there. And, you know, if you need to start replacing some of these heavier parts, I can't do that anymore with my back. And so it's like you need engine lifts. Like the motorcycles are a piece of, like even my Gold Wing. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. I have a picture of when I put the heated grips in my Gold Wing, and I had to take like half the bike apart to do it. And it wasn't as bad as like if you had to deal with the car because there's no real lifting, you know, and that's the big thing. So here's a let me just quickly just quickly bring up a picture of it here. Yeah, you suck. Where is it? There you go. I'll bring up the picture of me taking apart the motorcycle. It's a brand new motorcycle I took apart to put heated grips on. Let me see if I can bring it up here. That was, so this was the, let me see if I can image, resize this a little bit. So like this was all the stuff I had to do to get, put the heated grips in the motor, up, let me get the display cap on. All right, this is all that stuff I had to do to get the grips on the heated grips on the motorcycle. I took all the dash off. Took all the side panels off, took the seat off, took the back seat off, took everything off to get the heated grips on. Like, but this is still a piece of cake compared to what you'd have to do with cars, you know, and it's like, that's not too bad. Like, you know, see, like here are all the panels on the side, and then like I have all my dishes full of screws and parts and stuff, you know, and it was like, you know, I had to have the instructions. They don't give you instructions to put it back together. You just have to do it backwards. But it's kind of neat, you know. Taking the bike apart now, you kind of know where everything is. You know, like that's the cruise control module there. You know, that's the fuel tank. You know, so it's like some of the servos for stuff are under there. You know, you have different connections for if you want to put in like a 12-volt plug and stuff like that. But kind of neat. You know, so like motorcycles, you know, it's a little bit easier to work on them. They're smaller, the parts are light. You know, you start getting into cars, it's just like everything's friggin' heavy. The heated grips are very important. Like I'll ride into December, you know, and so like I've ridden plenty of times when it's like literally 0 degrees. That I've ridden below zero. Like I don't mean zero as in freezing. I mean 0 as in 0 degrees Fahrenheit. I've ridden in that before, you know, and so the heated grips, like even if it's 40 out, with like I have thick winter gloves on, your fingertips will still start to go. You lose feeling in your fingertips, and so you start to lose dexterity and lose the ability to control the motorcycle, which isn't good. So the heated grips are worth it to keep your hands, dexterous, so you can still control the bike. So, you know, heated grips are definitely worth it. Yeah. You know, like you ride for 40 for a little bit, you'll be freezing, you know, and your hands will, it doesn't take, like even a 60-degree day, if I wear my summer gloves on a 60, it'll start to get, your fingers will start getting stiff. And so it's, you know, like I have a winter set, and then because like you have the air like going through it however fast you're going, so it's stripping off all the heat out of your hands. You know, see, and then any sort of moisture, you start getting either sweat on them, or you get, you know, a little bit of rain on them. You start to get cold really fast. So, worth having the heated grips. It's 300 miles an hour, you're not holding on to shit. 300 miles an hour, you're falling off. That was like, I went through 3 windshields to get the windshield I finally had, and they don't let you return windshields. It's like, they're very picky about that. So it was like, I had the original windshield, which was very low profile, and then I got one that was a higher profile, and then I got one that is, it was designed by some aeronautical engineers, so it actually, like, the air is molded, it goes underneath and over, so it doesn't separate, and it, I still look, because I don't want to look through the windshield, I want to look over it, so I can look over the windshield, but the air still goes over me, and so it's, you know, it took a bunch of windshields to get the one I wanted, because I can't stand having the wind hit me, it just wears you out, and it's noisy, and it's cold. So like I can ride in cold weather because the air doesn't touch me. So I stay in like a warm bubble, and then I have a full suit on with a winter liner in it. So that helps a lot. Let's see. Yes, it is. It is snowy. Luckily, we haven't had too much snow the last couple of years, but yeah, unfortunately, my back, I can't ride at all right now. If I get my back stuff wrapped up, will be good. But who knows? But it's like, yeah, once you've kind of ridden motorcycles, cars are free. Like my brother will try to like talk to me about like a fast car. I'm like, there's nothing, does nothing for me. I'm like, it's a car, man. Doesn't interest me. It's like I'm interested in big trucks and motorcycles. You know, car really doesn't interest me. Doesn't blow my socks off. Got a bunch of veg here. Look at all that good veg. I gave all the lettuce to the chickens, so I wouldn't have to feed them. That only is 50% food efficient there, but we're starting to actually. We got our first full pallet of eggs there. Probably rotten at this point, but they don't rot. Kind of, I'm saving it. I thought that was grass for a second. It's a sheep sleeping. They're sleeping. Starting to like, I'm letting everything accumulate too, so that we have some winter work here. Like, I'm gonna pretty much only do milk runs when the tank's full, so the tank's getting close to being full. And then that will go for a milk run. And that, exactly. Keep the rotten eggs for the corrupt politicians. Let's see what we got in here. Still have some silage additive in here. Okay, that's good. We need to buy that wrapper, is on the list of things to do. I don't need musical wrapper. Need to buy that wrapper, and I'll keep looking at flatbeds. I need to find a flatbed. There are a couple American flatbeds I liked. I need, I've got one that we could work with for now with the trucks we have, so that's probably going to be the next buy as well. Like, I'd love to have a large, like, you know, semi-tractor, but what the hell? I have a TikTok up that literally has 0 views.
Yep.
Headshot.
Yeah.
Never had that before. 2-hour-old TikTok with 0 views. It must be bugged. Interesting. That's weird. So that is very weird that TikTok has 0 views on it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's bugged because somebody liked it. Somebody liked it and it has 0 views on it. Make sure there is that to not. Yeah, somebody commented on it. Was being a jerk, and I got rid of them being a jerk. Yeah, I think it's just bugged. It's not showing the counter correctly. That makes sense. All right. Let us look at our September costs. So, property maintenance, production costs, new vehicles was fertilizer. I had to buy fertilizer. Yeah, so not too bad. Contract income was pretty good. 126,000 in August on contract income. Pretty good there. But then I spent 132 on mostly vehicles. That was the big vehicle month, buying up vehicles right here. New vehicles, $335,000 was. So Yeah, this is why it looks like we have no money, but it's like, you see, we spent 330. We're not going to have to spend another big chunk on vehicles for a little while. So that helps production. Let's see where we're at on butter and ches. Good. The milk will be good until we need to fill that up again. Let's see what cows we're looking like for 10,000 liters slurry. That's good. So let me see what Citrus is saying there. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of TikTok, but you know, it helps the discoverability. It's like, you know, sometimes like I have videos in YouTube. Like I had a Tarkov video that got like 9,000 views on YouTube. The same video got, let's see what I got on TikTok. Which one was the 9? Let me look. You know, so it's kind of a, you kind of have to diversify a little bit, you know, so like, which was the big one on, so like this one the other day was one down, which was, so it had 9,000 views on YouTube, it had 596 on TikTok, and then like I have one on TikTok, Ring the Bell, which had 2,800 views, and you go on YouTube, and that one only has, and she'll find it. I don't see it. Oh, it's, I gotta scroll up. Where the hell is it? Okay, that one only has like 744 on YouTube, so it's like, you know, it's kind of, you're playing with two algorithms by doing both, and that's kind of the only reason I do both is. Like, you know, certain games, they very much promote Twitch. So, like, for example, for Star Citizen, they pretty much, like, if you live stream on YouTube, you don't get much traction. If you go on Twitch, you get more traction. And so, like, a lot of that is Twitch has better discoverability for live streams, generally, because they've been doing it longer. So it's kind of like, you know, if you want people to stumble across your content, you kind of have to diversify it a little bit, and it kind of tells you where people are. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Twitch. I like, you know, I try to stay in YouTube as much as I can. Like, they have a program that you have to pay for that you can stream on both, which that's ideal. But you know, I don't have that hooked up, so you have to pay for it. So let's see. What do I want to do here? He's doing the bales. I could run this milk off here. We're at 94%. I'll do that. Yes, Twitch is a little bit better setup, I think, for streaming. You know, some of their architecture is a little bit better for that stuff, so it, you know, that does help. Like, it's easier to find. For example, you can do things, for example, like if you're finishing up your stream, you can send your viewers to somebody else, and like say the 10% stay. You know, that helps with, you know, that helps with discoverability. Like, for example, there are some big Twitch streamers for Tarkov who, you know, they help other people get discovered by essentially, when they're done, they just pick somebody who's streaming who doesn't have a lot of viewers on there, and they'll, you know, they'll kind of hand their raid over to them. And so it's cool stuff like that. Sometimes you, you know, so it can be, you know, just the infrastructure of each one's different. Let's see what you said here. Yeah, you know, so it's like, it's good to put, like, I try to put as much on Twitch and on TikTok and on YouTube of the duplicates as possible. just because, you know, they might even prefer to be on YouTube and stumble across, like, I don't watch, like, my brother will send me TikToks to watch those, but, you know, it helps with somebody sees you on there and then is like, oh, they see you do live on YouTube and then might catch up and watch on that. So it's kind of nice to diversify it a little bit and let people kind of then go where they want to go. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I know some people, you know, have watched Jersey and come to me for tutorials, but it, you know, it depends. Some go to the other guys, you know. It all depends, you know. It's, you know, the nice thing is, you know, I think the democratization of entertainment, that's the benefit of like the streaming stuff. You know, of course, there, like anything, there's ups and downs in it, but it's the democratization of it is good too. It's like you don't have to like you know, this is my job. This is my oh Jesus, I'm gonna tip over. This is my job. It's my hobby. You know, and it's like so that's kind of like I don't need to kiss ass essentially, and I'm not interested in it. And the benefit of that is it's like you know like. You know, back with cable, like literally at one point they had like 4 channels, you know, and so everybody watched the Tonight Show. Of course they did, because they had 4 channels to pick from. So that was like the heyday of the Tonight Shows. Of course, everybody knew, you know, it's kind of like a cultural phenomenon where like everybody would go to work the next day and they could talk about the Tonight Show because like literally everybody watched the Tonight Show. And then of course, as they, you know, you get more variant entertainment, people actually can watch what the hell they want to, and that's kind of nice. Is like there are content creators for Stormworks who all they do is Krakens and Titanics, and they have a certain crowd that loves to watch that, and that's great because there are people that love that stuff and want to watch it. I have no interest in that, so there are different people that I like to watch that do more of the stuff I want, and I can do my stuff. People who like my stuff can stick there, and it's nice that you can kind of, you know, there's certainly overlap, and but there's also, you know, yeah, people have their unique styles, which is nice, you know, and it makes it so that kind of everybody can find the entertainment they enjoy, you know. And you know, one thing I like is I like watching somebody's content, and when they start playing a different game, you kind of get turned on to different games, and you know, you can see, okay, this is somebody I trust who's on to this game, and they like it, you know, or they like the type of games that I like, so I'll probably like this as well, so I kind of like that. One Kraken tank. I was thinking of one that's gonna just be like, you know, funny. That would be that. But see, that's the thing that doesn't really interest me. Though, is like, to a certain extent, yeah. But I don't do it. I try not to do anything that's hype, and I try not to do anything that I find it dishonest when you like. I don't know, when you put up a title that like, you know, that's disingenuous. I don't like that. I don't like. You know, like, for example, I'll get, you know, I get a lot of, the last week I got a lot of subscribers from Tarkov videos, and like, I'll lose one, you know, a day, I'll gain one, because they were looking for they just wanted Tarkov content in their feed. And, you know, if I put out other videos, it might finally bug them enough, they're like, oh, I don't want to watch any of this. And that's fine with me, you know, it's like, you know, it's, I don't need them just to come in the door to just sit in my subscriber account. That really doesn't do anything for me. It's like I want people to actually come and enjoy it. And I'm not going to do things that don't interest me. Oh, look, I see a hedgerow there. You know, I'm not going to do things that I don't enjoy doing either. And that's, you know, like, I could do some of that, like shorts of me yelling, screaming in the mic, and driving over a tsunami, but that doesn't interest me, so I don't do it. You know, but there are people who really do enjoy doing that, and there are people who enjoy watching it. Great. But, you know, it's kind of like the whole thing I talked about is, you know, Days of Our Lives is not for me. I don't like Days of Our Lives. I don't watch Days of Our Lives. But it doesn't mean Days of Our Lives is stupid or wrong or shouldn't be in the air. It just isn't the content for me. You know, and so there are people who love Days of Our Lives, and that's very important to them, and so I don't begrudge other people their fun, but I'm not gonna. I don't do things like, for example, like a trendy new game. I'm not gonna just buy a trendy new game and play. Like, I'm not gonna like get Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't interest me at all. So it's like, could you get the trendy new game and make some content on it and gain some subscribers? Yes. Do I want to do that? No. You know, like I could get probably more. I could like get a lot more subs if I did a bunch of Star Citizen content because it just has a high numerical. You know, there are a lot of people watching Star Citizen content, searching for Star Citizen content. Like Tarkov videos, they greatly exceed my sub counts and my my view counts than Stormworks stuff. But you know, I only put out Tarkov stuff when I come up with a video that I think's good. You know, and I only play that when I want to play it. Like it gets pretty miserable when it becomes a job. Yeah, it's like, it's funny, YouTube will send you messages like, oh, you should try the new trend. And it's like, I have no interest in trying the new trend. You know, it's like, unless the trend is something I'm already interested in or will interest me, it's like, not doing it, you know. Because they just want, you know, YouTube wants the money, you know, so they want you to go do the trendy thing to get more clicks and ads and they can make money and you can get a small piece of it. It's like, no, I'm going to do what entertains me, and if people are entertained, awesome, you know. Oh, yes. Yeah, you're one of the OGs. Let me see what this says here. Let me see what I'm up to on video count now. That interests me. I'm over 1,000, I think. Let me see. But it's like, you know, if I was out there just caring about getting a subscriber count or views or money off it, or I would have been out this whole time. Every time that they changed a mechanic in Stormworks, I would be doing a new tutorial, and I'd leave them all up, you know. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. I think it's going to be more confusing. So I just, you know, hang around and wait, and waiting for things to kind of get ironed out and do that. And it's like, you know, the view counts went way up when Space DLC came out, you know, and you could capitalize on that by just kind of like banging your head against the wall, just playing. But, you know, like you guys could tell if I was enjoying myself or not, and I don't want to have a bad time playing the game. So it's like, you know, I think I did the better thing is, you know, if you're not enjoying it or you don't want to deal with the bugs, take a break and play something else. And I've really been enjoying the farming sim. And, you know, I used to love me some farming sim and played a lot of farming sim. And so it was good to get back into this. And I'm looking forward to Stormworks. And I'm looking forward to building some things again, where the best thing to do is when you're like having a drought is take a break. And some people just keep powering through, especially if, like, for example, there have been Tarkov streamers that their primary game, the only game they play is Tarkov. And so you can tell they're not enjoying playing. You know, they're on for 12 hours again playing Tarkov. They're really not enjoying it. But, you know, all their subscribers just want to see Tarkov. And so what do? They come play Tarkov and they have a miserable day playing. And it's not fun, you know. And so it's like, you know, decided along, this is not going to be my job. This is not, you know, its purpose. It's a hobby, you know, and, you know, because I don't want to, you know, and I don't want to be making a job. I think these must have asymmetrical thrust on the wheels. Must be like skid steers. These gators. I'd have to look at. That'd be interesting to see how these are run. Where the hell is the sprayer? Oh, I parked it next to the fuel tank. It auto closes that fuel tank garage. It auto closes the garage door, so it's it. You know, the other thing that could get a lot of views right now is get on, you know, as somebody who, you know, mostly does Stormworks stuff, is if I got on and made a bunch of videos just bitching and complaining and calling the devs stupid and all that, that would get a ton of views. I guarantee it. You know, that would get a ton of views. And I have absolutely zero interest in doing that. I'm not gonna, you know, like, I will share my honest opinion about it, but I'm not going to, like, do some artificial video just for the views either. Like, you know, and there are some people who are legitimately grouchy people who, like, are grouching about the game. Great, that's on point. They're doing what's honest to them, and it's like, I'm not gonna go and just bitch about the devs to get more views either, you know. If I think they do something right, I'll say it. If I think they do something wrong, I'll say it, you know, but I'm not gonna do it for the express purpose of getting more views. I think that's scummy. I do like reviews every once in a while. I like some of the React videos. Like, I've been wanting to do some reacts on Star Citizen just because, like, you know, I've been kind of watching that for a while, and kind of it interests me a little bit. And I find CIG is a very scummy company. I think they're doing better in the actual production of the game right now, but they're still a scummy company, and so that kind of. You know, like, so I would share my opinion on that, but it's like, you know, that's kind of the you know, putting my own spin on things like that interests me, but, you know, like, going out and, like, just, like, some game I have no interest in and doing because it's popular, that just me. You know, like, if there's a game, like, I did some BattleBit plays, and I enjoyed playing BattleBit with my brother. We used to play Battlefield all the, you know, Call of Duty back, you know, 20 years ago together. And so it was fun. I enjoyed playing BattleBit with him, but, you know, I started getting bored with BattleBit. It was too arcadey for me. And so, you know, I stopped playing when I stopped enjoying it, you know. And you know, and that was that was incredibly trendy at the time. I could have stayed with that and probably, you know, got a good number of subscribers and got some good views off of just hanging around BattleBit because it was kind of the hot game. It had really high view counts, and it was one of Steam's best sellers at the time. You know, you could just kind of haunt the bestseller list and get some good views and subscribers doing that, but it's like, it doesn't interest me. It's also, the money's not good enough to be, the money is nowhere near good enough to be selling out, is kind of my old thought process. Like, for example, I would do a product review, honestly, but it would have to be something that interests me. Like, if they, for example, like, if, like, I really like the Warthog joystick. It's $500. If Warthog contacted me and was like, hey, you know, we'll give you, you know, a Warthog, you can do an honest review, I'd do that, you know, but it would be an honest review. It would be what I think about it, you know. I wouldn't sell out for it. It's not worth the $500 to be a sellout, you know. You know, like if they were like, oh, like Manscaped. If Manscaped, like you see it, like the really trendy stuff, like, you know, to a certain extent, you say, okay, I'll put Manscaped in there, and like, but I would do it my way. Like, there are some people that are kind of funny that they'll do, you know, they'll do a jokey. I would do it like that, but it would have to be something like, you know, and I'd give my honest opinion about it. Like, I've seen a trend recently of, like, some people, they'll make the video seem like it's one of the normal videos, and then they break into the obvious ad. And then you have, like, there are some content creators who will do ads for stuff, but they'll make it funny and they'll make it their own. And it's like, you don't mind watching the ad. Like, I used to listen to Bill Burr's podcast, and I would literally listen to every one of his ads because they were fun. And he made them funny. And I bought none of those products, but he made the ad funny. And he made it like, you know, his own humor, and that was fun, and it was entertaining. It's like, you know, like I would review, for example, like, you know, like say I was playing Flight Sim or something, and like Logitech was like, hey, you know, we'll send you a, whatever the new Logitech is, or they had like a new Airbus HOTUS out. Like, I would review that, but I'd give it an honest review. I'd think what I think about it. Is it value for money? That's a big thing for me, is like, I would feel bad if somebody went and spent money on this because of my review and it was a piece of garbage. You know, so I won't do that. But I'd be like, you know, it was 126 bucks. I think it's reasonable quality. It works well. It's kind of a little bit gimmicky, but you know, it's shit. This thing needs to be washed too. You know, but it's you know, I think it's worth the money if you really need a joystick and you really like the Airbus styling on this. If you don't need a new joystick, you don't need to go spend this money on it. Like something like that would be a review I would do. You know? Yeah, that would be cool having some Steam stuff going in. Yeah. Internet historian, yeah. I'll look at in-game chats. $10 million for a good review of Star Citizen? Yeah, I'd do it. That's enough money to sell out. They're not getting me for like cheap though. That's the thing. Is like some people will sell out for nothing. You know? And you know, this would be my review of yeah, Thrustmaster. Yeah, like this would be my review currently of Star Citizen. Is I think it's a scummy company who, you know, by sheer accident and determination and just longevity, have stumbled onto some really cool mechanics, and because of that, I think they're going to eventually make a game that is good. I think they've made a lot of scummy decisions, which have made me completely lose trust. They've lied to the community multiple times, and I would use that word quite emphatically, that they have lied. You know, and I would define lying as knowingly saying something that is not true. And CIG has knowingly said stuff to us that is not true. And so I don't think CIG as a company is a good company. I think the developers are just, you know, they're the mainline workers. I'm all for the workers. And they have come up with some really good stuff. I think Chris Roberts is a disgusting charlatan. And he is one of the reasons that why the company is so scummy. You know, and that would be my, and I would say this, I would say to people, again, you know, you have to decide for yourself if it's worth the money. But I would tell people, don't buy any ship that is years off. They do FOMO to get you to buy a ship that is years off. They lie to you and tell you the ship's right around the corner. This happened to me with the Hull C. It was, I bought it in 2018, and they said it was done. And it came out in 2023, just a few months ago, and it was 200 bucks, which again, that's like the pretty much the main only ship that I want in game that I like want to start day one with. And so I didn't mind spending the money on it. And then 5 years later, the ship comes out, and the main mechanic for the ship is broken and doesn't really work. You know, and they do a bunch of disgusting marketing things. You know, so that would be my review of CIG. It's like, you know, they're a scummy company. And would I tell people not to buy the game? No. Again, I don't tell anybody not to buy any game. I tell them, you know, this is what the game is like. If you like this, buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. You know, it's like, you know, my review for Stormworks people. I've told plenty of people not to buy Stormworks. Like, if your only interest is downloading a bunch of crap off the workshop and you want really in-depth story, then guess what? It's not for you, because the story is not in depth. There are people who like to play Cyberpunk and The Witcher and games like that. No, there's not a deep story. You hear a lot of the people complaining in the Stormworks community about, you know, oh, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to do. Well, those people want an engaging story. They want to be held by the hand, and they want to be led. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a type of game. Like, The Witcher holds your hand, and it says, oh, I'm going to take you over here now and tell you the story about this dude over here. I get so bored to tears by that. So The Witcher, like, objectively was a great game. Cyberpunk, objectively a great game. Starfield, objectively a great game for those genres. But I am bored to tears by those games. So, you know, for me, it doesn't, it would suck. You know, it sucks. You know, and so for example, like my review of Starfield was essentially pretty much at the end of the day what I didn't like about it and why it's not the game for me. And if you're like me, you probably wouldn't like this game. But if you like those features, then it probably is the game for you, you know? And so that's kind of, you know, kind of the way I do it. It's, you know, it's like people like Stormworks sucks. It's like, no, it doesn't suck. It's like you bought a game that you know that you didn't like, and so explain what you didn't like about the game, and then the people who are like you should not buy the game. You know, there are some people who they don't want to build anything, and I've told them, well, you probably, you know, that's the main thing of the game. If you don't want to build anything, you probably shouldn't get Stormworks. You know. Because, yeah, do I still think it's value for money? Yeah, if you're going to get 24 bucks worth of enjoyment out of Stormworks, like you could sit in the workshop, download a bunch of stuff in the workshop, go ride around for 10 minutes in all the stuff in the workshop, and get your $24 worth. You could, you know, but if you want to get like 5,000 hours out of the game like I have, then you're going to probably want to build. You're going to probably want to actually be somebody who enjoys learning. If you don't want to watch a tutorial or actually test the mechanics and learn the mechanics yourself, then you're probably not going to enjoy the game, you know, and you shouldn't buy it because guess what? I would actually rather fewer grouchy, annoying people around who are just bitching the whole time. I would actually rather few of them buy the game because they spent the money and they feel like, oh, I lost that money, so I'm going to get my money's worth by going in the forums and haunting the forums and bitching. And if I can get one person not to buy the game, well, guess what? It's like I got my money back. And I find that to be kind of a silly notion, you know. And that was like kind of the whole review bombing thing is it's like all you're trying to do is like you're trying to slap the devs. And it's like a better thing to do is like, you know, explain to them how you think they should have done better. You know, explain you're disappointed and you know, move on from there. But yeah, hasn't bought yet. Listen, $10 million. You know, you could buy me for $10 million. Everybody has a price. You can buy me for $10 million. $10 million means I would never have to work again. Now, for example, like your example was, what if Chris Roberts paid you $10 million for you to make a good review of Star Citizen? Yeah, I'd make a good review today of Star Citizen, and I would retire. And guess what? I would spend the rest of my days, you know, making up for being a shithead. But you know, I could give her a good review of Star Citizen right now. You know, if you enjoy playing a buggy game that will often change, where your progress is lost, but you really enjoy exploring a new world, you probably enjoy Star Citizen. If you don't mind spending $45 for it, it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. Is it going to be buggy? Are things going to break? Are they going to try to entice you with FOMO and all these other scummy marketing tactics? Yes. But if you're the kind of person who is not like swayed by these things, buy what you want to buy, play as much as you want to play. Certain mechanics in the game are working pretty well. Certain mechanics are neglected and years and years and years and years and decades and years and 100 years away, and likely probably never even get there. You know, like I'm content at this point that I'm never going to get a flight model in Star Citizen that I will enjoy, because they've gotten away from the simulator crowd, which is where they sold us on simulator. They moved away from the simulator crowd and they've decided to go more towards the arcade crowd. That's fine. I understand that the sim crowd is small, and unless it's a small project and a small developer, likely we're not going to get what we want. And I've experienced that my whole life, you know. And I don't begrudge the other people. They're fun. The arcade crowd is why Star Citizen is as big as it is, frankly, because guess what? There are not enough of us sim nuts to be able to get the game we want. There's just not enough of us. And I kind of think the same way with the extreme search and rescue crowd in Stormworks. There are not enough of you that love just search and rescue and a very complex building game to keep this game alive. So we need the people who like to, spawn a Titanic and go ride over a tsunami and then play with a Kraken. We need those people. And so we should be happy when they get what they want. And we need people who enjoy space to come in and do space. And we need people who enjoy, fishing. And we need people who will never build something because they pay for the game too, Which one? Star Citizen NDA? Yeah. Yeah, because they actually have a legal theme, because they spend our money on legal themes. That it's funny, like there are a couple comments of like, oh, you should just have NDAs for Stormworks' testing, and it's like it is literally a 4-person developer team. How the hell are they affording to pay a lawyer to go over NDAs? It's going to cost them thousands of bucks to get NDAs, and maybe they could get a boilerplate NDA up, but then imagine if people start violating the NDA. That's when you have to start spending a ton of money. Yeah, that's fine. Citrus, I'll grab them. That's when there's an absolute, that's when the legal stuff will get expensive. And when it will be very negative towards the game is if you then need to enforce your NDAs, that's when it gets super expensive. Now, Star Citizen could enforce their NDAs because they have, they've taken the $600 million. They probably have lawyers literally on retainer. Stormworks can't do that. So that's like, sometimes I roll my eyes at some of these comments of like, oh, just, bringing NDAs on Stormworks. It's like, they're not going to be able to afford to enforce an NDA. So it's a waste of money to have an NDA because they have to pay the lawyers to write up the NDAs, and then there's no way they're going to be able to afford to pay the lawyers to enforce the NDAs. And so likely what they're going to do is they're just not going to, that's one of the reasons why they don't do some of this stuff, because they can't afford to do it. And you need to be a pretty big developer with some really deep pockets to have a bunch of lawyers on retainer, to be able to, hire some lawyers for an NDA. That sort of stuff is expensive. And frankly, I think most of us would probably prefer that the devs didn't spend the money on that, it's better, I would say, in this game to have an open, in Stormworks, to have an open experimental than to try to start dicking around with NDAs. It's just, I don't think it's really the way to go, because you could be wasting so much money on legal nonsense. Well, yeah, I would, do my one, I do my one endorsement of Star Citizen for $10 million, and then I would never talk about Star Citizen ever again. And this is what I would say. When somebody's like, oh, you got Star Citizen, you talked about Star Citizen, why don't you talk about Star Citizen anymore? All I would say is I don't talk about Star Citizen anymore, which is something you could say in an NDA. There are ways you can, allude to the fact that, maybe I'm not a reliable source in that department. I'd just be like, yeah, don't talk about that. But the main thing is I wouldn't really necessarily be bought. Like, if you said that I had to say absolutely everything's great about Star Citizen and Chris Roberts is a god for 10 mil, yeah, I'd do it. but because literally, you have to consider too, what is $10 million? $10 million means I don't have to ever work again. It means that I could probably retire some of my family members so they never have to work again. It means that your family is completely secure, and that's why people can be bought for that type of price. But you see, literally, you'll see politicians bought for $5,000. You'll have somebody a politician who has, say, $5 million in the bank, and they'll get bought for $5,000. That is gross. You can't buy me for $5,000. And you have these scummy politicians who they have $5 million in the bank, and they'll still be bought for $500. That's gross. Well, $10 million is first they'd never do it, of course. So it's kind of it's definitely hypothetical, but it's also and I wouldn't have to lie about it. I would like I said, if Chris Roberts was you have to say, oh, everything Chris Roberts does is great. Yeah, that's gross. And it's funny too. You literally talk about the people who are bought for that. The employees are bought, to a certain extent. And I don't really fault the employees either. The employees are just trying to survive, man. And it's you have some of the employees I forget his name. He was one of the employees. What's his name? Poor guy. He was like a deer in headlights. He lied to everybody during one of the Citizen Cons, and you could pretty much you can pretty much tell that Chris Roberts like put him up to it because it was very much a Chris Roberts lie. Is there was this thing called what the hell is it called? I don't remember the name of it. Theaters of War. So one of the things that pisses off some of us about Star Citizen is they keep going off on these like they're side projects, but they don't like to call them side projects. They like, oh, these things benefit us all by doing this. It benefits the game, but they're little side projects. And so, like, they have this thing called Theaters of War. It's supposed to be like a first-person shooter element of Star Citizen, give you something to play. Well, this 200-year-old game takes, still going. And so, like, Theaters of War, they lied and they said it would be out soon. They insinuated it'd be out like within months, and I think they even said it would be like, it would be within months, and then it is still not out years later. And it's like and you could tell like this guy was nervous on stage, and at the end of the day, that's his job, and his family either gets fed or not today because of that. And so, do I think he's a sellout? Yeah. Do I give him a ton of crap for it? No. But it's like I said, I won't sell it for like the tiny little bits of money. Not gonna happen. But $10 million is quite the hypothetical. $50K. Nice. Is that it, Citrus? Is it all done? I turn him in. Okay, I'll turn that in. Nice. That's good for a little bit of cash money. Good. That was good to get that done. Another one popped up. No, thank you. Not right now. I might do that some other time with our own equipment. There we go. Good. Can I get rid of all that? No, I still have debt, but we'll get rid of some of it. There, we're down to 50 grand left. Would I be bought for 50K? No. 50K wouldn't do it. I get 50K in the back. Yeah. 50K. Like, you would have to buy me for millions. Like, yeah. You'd have to retire my ass. Two and a quarter. Yeah. I'd take 2 1/4 and I'd be done. I could retire at 2 1/4. And then just be done, I wouldn't have to take any more of, I wouldn't have to review any more games or review the one. And then you could, like, you could go review other games and be honest about them, do whatever you wanted after that, That's why, like, kind of the hypothetical of it's kind of silly because, one, nobody's offering you that money, and it's like, you'll get people who, like, they'll tell you, oh, I can't be bought for any price. Of course you can. You would do many a great disgusting things if the money was actually in front of you, and that's the difference. Is like it would be easy for me to say, oh, I couldn't be bought at any price, but because the money's not in front of me. But that's dishonest, and I think that's kind of the whole thing of it is it's like, you tell somebody they'd never have to work for a shitty boss again. They could dedicate the rest of what would I do with $10 million? I'll tell you what I'd do with $10 million. I would buy a farm, and I would rescue some farm animals. Like, I'd find a pig they were going to slaughter, and I'd bring him to my farm, and he could live the rest of his life in peace. And I'd find a steer or a cow they're going to slaughter, and they could live on my farm the rest of their life in peace. And I would, that's what I would do with some of that money, And so you say, is it worth it to be a shithead and to say that this game is good to be able to rescue some animals and, and do, I think, do good? Yeah. But is it worth 50 grand? No, I can't do anything with 50 grand that's worth selling out for, Yes, exactly. Chris Roberts is just like, part of it's just like he's overly optimistic, but like that I have no problem with. Like being overly optimistic, like that part of him I understand. Like it just seems like he's really excited and he's like really terrible at guessing how long stuff's gonna take. That part I don't have much problem with him. The problem that I have with CIG is this. Here, we'll do a little bit of rant here. Yeah, I bring it up. We'll go for a rant. Now he won't pay me 10 million because I've shit on his game so much. They'd actually pay you more. This is the thing this is what's scummy, is if you were a detractor and then you become a believer, that's when they want to pay you. So like if we go to the pledge store, one, I think it's still scummy to call it a pledge store. It is a purchase. It has VAT tax. It's a purchase. It's still scummy to do that, but like, you look at these, right? These two game packages, these ships were the beginning ships. These came out over a decade ago, right? They're not useless, but they're pretty damn useless. So you come in here and you think, oh, I can come and play this game with this. And you go to view all game packages. So, like, theoretically, yes, you could come pay $45 and get your money's worth. Absolutely. But what are they going to do? They're going to do some things here that are going to be scummy. Yeah, let's look at some of the scumminess. This ship here, that one might have been out for a while. So this ship here pissed a lot of people off. This ship is 1,100 real dollars right there. Insane. 1,100 real dollars. Let's see. I think the Carrack was one of the initial announced ships. All right, let's see. When was the Carrack announced? That was announced on November 26th, 2020. November 26th, 2013. This ship was announced then. Let's see. When did the Carrack come out? The Carrack was released. That is the wiki. When did it really come out? See, they're now getting into friggin' stupid lore posts and stuff. It came out 19 February 2021. So it came out 8 years after it was announced. So people literally bought this ship, and it was one of the first ships announced. It came out 8 years later. And so they sold other ships. They made other ships before they made this. That's really scummy. Let's see if I can find the... That's on his site. Let's see if I can find it. So I think it's super scummy. Is they've been living off the money of the old backers for a very long time, and what they keep doing is, let me see, Star Citizen ship chart. All right, so like this is some scummy stuff from Star Citizen here, like as far as I'm concerned. So like this is the ship chart here. See if I can open this tab and actually see it. Okay, so these are all the ships that are supposed to be in the game, right? So one of the things they like to do is they've had ships that have been. So this ship right here, this is one of my favorite ships. This was announced like right around 2013, I think. This ship has been announced since 2013. They literally took people's real dollars, hundreds of real dollars for the ship. This ship will probably not be out for at least another 5 years. They've had new ships they've worked on, so they put that on the back burner. They already have your money. And then what do? They work on new stuff. And so let's see these two ships here. These ships, what they did was they announced these ships a couple of years ago, and they were super overpowered. And so they were like, they sold them as something they weren't. And what they'll do is they'll make this new ship, and it's a new JPEG. It costs them nothing because they haven't started working on it yet, but they sell it to you for real hundreds of dollars, and then you buy the ship. And then when it comes out, it is everything they promised. It is overpowered, right? And then what do? Oh, woe is us. We could not have imagined that this ship is overpowered. We're going to have to nerf it now. And so they sold you this overpowered ship. They sold you on all of its stats, and then they nerf it. And then they do something like, oh, this ship, buy it today and you'll get it on discount. It could go up in price in the future. Well, it always goes up in price. And then they do artificial scarcity. So this ship you can't buy, you can only buy it for this 1 week or these couple days. And so if you don't buy it in these couple days, it could go up in price, which it always does. And so then they don't sell it again for 6 months. So you have FOMO, your fear of missing out. You're missing out on this ship. And so then it comes out, it comes up for sale again in 6 months. Oh my God, it went up $10. So I should buy it now because if I don't, it's going to go up in price again. So you just spent $250 on this JPEG, and then 5 years later, it finally comes out, and they've had your money the whole time. That is scummy, scummy, scummy. And they're doing it again with another new ship. So they have, like, the new controversy going on is they have this ship called the F8. The only way you're supposed to get that ship was if you completed the single-player campaign. Well, they just started selling it because money's down for the year. And so they sold this ship they said they would never sell. And guess what? Of course, it's the best ship you could ever imagine. And guess what's going to happen a couple months after it comes out? They're going to nerf it. And so that's super scummy stuff they do. Let me see. Oh, look at the expensive ones. This one here this one was announced like when the game, in the initial offering of the game. This one pisses people off. This is like an alien tech ship, and they keep putting it on the back burner, back burner, back burner, back burner, back burner, back burner, and all these new ships come out before it. This is the ship that, where is it? Where's my Hull C? This is my Hull C. This is my favorite ship right here. And so they changed up their plan a little bit. This was supposed to be the first one out, and then they ended up coming out with this one. And then they did this one. And this one is now behind. This one is a luxury ship that costs. This one, that's the 890 jump. I could probably find that. Come on, man. It's called the 890 jump. 890 should search for it. Why does it not? Let us see. All. Why can't you search? Let's go from price here. I'll find it. Why is this like, it's not giving me ships. Okay, here it is. What is the friggin', so like, I'm trying to see which manufacturer that stupid thing is. I forget. Origin. Okay, go to the fucking Origin ships, you dickhead. This website blows too, by the way. It's thinking. It's just taking forever. So like this ship right here is the website crashed too. Take that 600 million we paid you and make a website that works. Maybe you do that for a change. Where is it? Where is the 890? That's the other one. Here's the 890 right here. So what does this ship cost? Are we gonna have the price here? Or am I gonna have to friggin' hunt for it? Probably hunt for it. Oh my God, this website really blows something fierce, I'm telling you. This is a bad website for a $600 million game. Okay, here's the, nope, that's the other shit. Look at how bad the website is. Interesting. Awesome. So where the hell is it? I don't even know where I can buy it, like get the buy thing. Might not be for sale right now because it's artificially scarce. Like they do that artificial scarcity stuff where it's not always for sale. But I think that is probably close to $1,000 at least. This is like $5,000 for this ship here. This ship's $5,000 of real money. Let's see if I can find like the most like expensive package. Game packages. Oh, those are game packages. Maybe I'd just do individual ships. Maybe that's why I'm not finding stuff. Yeah, these are game packages. So like that's an 1100 package. Let's see what individual ship. Yeah, see, we went here before. It just didn't show prices. They're probably hiding the prices, tell you. Like, what's this ship cost? Let's see. Will it show me, or is it not going to do it? But, like, any of these big ships are thousands. That's thousands. This thing, literally, this only sells certain times of the year. And, of course, it's going to go up in price if you don't buy it now. And if you pay new money, if you pay new cash, you get a discount. If you use credit from melting your other ships, you know, you have to pay more. And this one will sell out in literally seconds. This ship will sell out in seconds, and it's thousands of dollars. This one's thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars. You know, hundreds. I think this one's either just shy of 1,000 or 1,000 with the package. You know, thousands, like, of real dollars. Yeah, that's why I think they're pretty scummy. It's not only just like the balls to ask somebody to pay $5,000 for an in-game asset, but and then they want to say it's not pay to win. You know, stuff like that. That's why I think they're pretty damn scummy. Like, you know, they could be honest and upfront, and they could do some things like they could say, hey, you know, they could say, hey, sorry, you know, we know the game was supposed to be out in 2016, but you know, we messed up. You know, we apologize. If you want your money back, you know, we're happy to give your money back, and then, you know, we're gonna reevaluate how we, you know, how we evaluate our timetables, and we'll be more upfront with our timetables. That's how you, as an honest company, come out. They don't do that, you know. They act like you're somehow something's wrong with you if you ask when your game that you paid for that was supposed to come out in 2016 and is still not out in 2023. They treat you like you're a jerk for asking when your product that you bought already is going to come out. Yeah. You know, part of it is the problem with Chris Roberts is he, you know, he's had this problem before. Chris Roberts has a track record. They pulled him off of one of his games because the publisher did, and finished his game because he was doing this shit. He was like, he keeps doing scope creep, and that's kind of the problem. Is, you know, yes, they're making a really cool game, and I have like literally no problem with some of the stuff they're doing. If they said this to us in 2012, they said, hey guys, there's going to be no time limit on this game, and we're going to keep building it and making it better and better. It could take 20 years to come out. If they said that, guess what? I wouldn't have bought something. I wouldn't have bought then. I would have waited. And guess what? They wouldn't have had the money, and they wouldn't have been successful. Instead, they lied to everybody, and, you know, that's how they become successful. And, like, they put it out in Answer the Call 2016, late 2016. He lied to everybody and said the game was still coming out the end of the year. And they knew that the game wasn't going to come out end of the year. No, there was no way in hell the game was coming out end of year. But they still lied to everybody and told them that it would. And then in 2017, they changed the date to 2017 and said, oh, yeah, it's coming out in 2017. And then end of 2017, they just changed it to 2018. They didn't even talk about it, really. It's like scummy stuff like that they do. You know, and I've got no patience for that scumminess. But I won't ever give them another dollar. But, you know, the game I think will be cool eventually. But, you know, I'm not a fan of that company, you know. And I'll still pay for it. Like, you know, at the end of the day, the way I consider it is it worth the money to me? You know, is like, you know, one of the reasons I defend Stormworks is, like, for me personally, again, some people, Stormworks is not worth it. You know, you shouldn't buy it. You're going to waste your money. And I've told people that many times. Like, somebody asked, back when Space DLC came out, they said, should I buy it? And I said, no. I said, you know, personally, I would wait. If I were you, I would wait like a month until they have the bugs worked out. And this person was like, well, yeah, but you know, it's 10% off right now. And I go, if the 10% off is that important to you, and you don't mind dealing with bugs for a month, probably a month, then you should buy it. If not, you should probably wait. You know, and that was my honest review of a game that I love. You know, is that for that person they should probably wait. You know, because for them, you know, what's the game gonna cost? So that was like $5 off. So it was like $5 off for them, was worth them like buying the game now to just hang around. For me, you know, I'd say nope, it's not worth it. I'll just wait and I'll pay the extra $5 when the game is bug free or you know, in a better state. You know, so it all depends on like what people's personal frustration level is for some of that stuff and what their financial level is. $5 is nothing to me. I don't mind, you know, I don't mind spending it. You know, it annoys me if I went and spent $5 on a sandwich that sucked. I would be annoyed, but you know, but that's the thing that I don't like about Chris Roberts is his lying. Like, for example, I think No Man's Sky, like, I forget, it's Sean Murray. Sean Murray came out and literally lied to everybody's face. And part of it was they had a publisher, Sony, and Sony, you know, the game had to come out now. And I think he was talking about what he would like to have in the game as though it was in the game. And, you know, he was coming out lying to people. He was a scumbag lying to everybody. But you can understand the things why. You know, you have a game company, you have employees. You know, people do a lot of bad things with the best of intentions. Like, especially if you have employees or you have a family, you'll do a lot of scummy things for that. And so, like, he had employees, and I'm sure his rationalization to lie to everybody was, hey, you know, we got employees. If I don't tell these lies, then they're going to be out of work. And so I'll tell some white lies, and my employees will stay employed. And then, you know, they did the right thing. Was the game came out, it was absolutely panned when it first came out because like 90% of the stuff he said would be in there was not in there. And they did the right thing, and they just shut up and worked. And like, I remember him saying, they did an interview where he read through all the nasty emails. And he just like went on every forum and he said, what are they saying about me? And he was like, and they were right. You know, I lied to people. I was a scumbag. And so what they did was they just like, they could have run away. They could have run away. Sean Murray could have just said, you know what, screw it. I'll take the money and I'll either retire or I'll go work for another company as just a...
Me too. I'm gonna one-tap him. We're gonna double tap him. Watch this shit.
What is going on?
I'm one-tapping. Watch this.
I hear, who's talking? Is that coming through Citra's mic? Oh, it is, yeah. Okay, so, you know, Sean Murray could have just taken the money and run. But he didn't. What did they do? They just shut up and they just kept making the game that they wanted to make, which is what eventually came out. Cyberpunk, again, you know, it had to come out. They have a publisher, and it was in a messy state. And now you know, people were joking, oh, Cyberpunk finally released, you know. And I think it's kind of the way the industry's going now, and I don't really care about it too much. Like, that doesn't bother me. Some people get all pissed off that everything's early access now. It doesn't bother me. Because I remember when we had the same type of crap games that, yes, they were 100% complete with very few bugs, but they were boring and they were short and they were crap. And in the 90s, they still cost $50. And every game when I would go to CompUSA was $50. And it was a PC game that was $50, and the only thing I could do was look in the back of the box, see what the blurb was. If you didn't like the game, too bad. You know, it was never going to get fixed or added to or changed. It's like when people bitch about, oh, I got to pay you know, $10 for a DLC that adds a lot of content to a game, and they'll bitch about that. It's like, I still haven't paid what I paid in the 90s for a game, you know, and did I get my $10 out of it? Okay, then what am I complaining about? That's kind of my whole thing. Yep, all right, sounds good, Citrus. Yeah, I'm going to take a break, too. I'm kind of dilling around. Yeah, I'm just going to read the chat, and I'm going to wrap up here, too. So. I have No Man's Sky. I didn't like it, but he got pretty well on his feet. Yeah, I didn't. I don't like the art style. Again, it's very important to me to actually control the vehicles, and it was very cartoony and arcadey, and that doesn't interest me. Like, the thing that interests me is actually like the game. Like, if I could magic and snap my fingers up and have a game, is I would make like a realistic, like super realistic like sci-fi still, like kind of 6 Degrees of Flight type of Star Citizen game, but like I would make it so you actually had to learn to be a pilot. Did the game just crash? No, it didn't. Okay, it's a Windows thing I'm having. I would make it so you actually had to learn to fly. Like I would make it super realistic, like you have to push 20 buttons when you get in the plane to get it going, at least. But 5 people are gonna want that game, so it's not gonna get made. Yeah, I was talking about, I had to wash 7 cars to get paid for a game. Like, this is the golden age of gaming, man. Like, people will bitch and complain about the early access, but it's like, you got the same tired bullshit back in the 90s. It was like nobody could really, there were some gems, of course, but like the game had to be 100% complete. The game had to be 100% bug free, or theoretically, when it came out, which meant you were never getting an update. Never. Like, I know that people piss on these Stormworks devs for every little thing, but it's like we get a hotfix every day. That is a blessing. A lot of companies would just put out the game and move on to the next one, and they might, after 6 months, they'll put out a little tiny little patch. These guys are still like updating their game, and like the part of the problem is I think some of the audience never lived in that time. I'll put on my old man hat. They never lived in that time where a game was never touched once it was released. It's out, it's done, it's gone, we're on the next thing. And yes, they come back and they break the game, but for a month. I played a hell of a lot of Stormworks. Triton works, all my trucks work, all my cars work, all my boats work. Nothing is broken to the point there it doesn't work. The thing that broke and like didn't work at all, that happened for 18 hours. And guess what? I just took a break. Didn't play for 18 hours. There's something wrong with me if I can't not play a video game for 18 hours. One video game. I went and I played different video games for those 18 hours. Take a break for 18 hours. That's it. And then guess what? If you really are still not enjoying Stormers, go play something else and come back when you're enjoying it. There are people who said they left the community. That happens in every game. People get tired of a game, stop playing it. There are plenty of games where I played the hell out of, and then I just get tired of them at some point and stop playing them. It's normal, and people are acting like the sky's falling. It's like, let's not, And people assume it's the same thing. Like you say, oh, my job could never do this with my workplace could never do this without me. If I left, they'd be screwed. Very rarely is that the case. What happens? They hire somebody else, and they soldier on. And it's the same thing as like, there were some prominent, people who, in the community for Stormworks who left after this debacle, and people are like, oh, they'll never recover, and they will. 5 new people came in who will be amazing builders, and then it was like, oh my God, New Jersey left. The game's dying. Nope. New people came along, took the reins from Jersey, made some new and interesting content. You had people who were like OG Stormworks players who gave it up a long time ago, and like I remember somebody threatened like, oh, I'm so sick of this. I took all my mods off the workshop. They acted as though without them the game would never live, and I can't even remember their name at this point. I remember Farming Sim. Some of my favorite modders left, and you thought for a second, you said, oh my God, how are we ever going to get good mods again? And then guess what? New people came in and filled the gap. It's like, these things happen, man. The longer you live, you start to realize, oh, it's normal for people to move on. It's normal for new people to get interested. It's normal for the person who you thought was the best builder ever in Stormworks left, and guess what? Somebody else came by, and they're just as good or better. And they're, and things move on. But, pretty normal stuff, and people seem like it's extreme. All right, so I'm going to do a quick little sign off here. We'll But that was good to get a little farming in. Thank you to Citrus for hanging out and working on the farm today. I appreciate that. Let's see. I clicked on the wrong tab. Let me just do a quick member readout here. So, thank you to Cider Mountain, FS Gamer, Connor Boyle, Danny, Miles World, Sergeant Chaos, Aaron Repairs All, and Citrus for being members. Thank you to Chicken Soar for being a patron. If you're interested in any of that, that's down in the description below. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you all for hanging out, and everyone else in the chat. We had some Citrus, I think FS, nope, Connor was on here. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.